Welcome to Soul Infused Monday, the first Monday of the month of April. Can't believe it's already April. So welcome to Soul Infused Monday. My name is Sonia Bueno de la Torre. And if you're new to my show and if we haven't connected yet, I'm here to help you to know and love your authentic self so that you can create a life you want. And if you're watching here on the replay, leave a comment below, say hello, so I know that you're here. And if you are live on the show, of course, please say hello. Let me know if you're here and see me. I know it always takes a moment. So today, as people are joining in, today's topic is shame and addiction. How to turn shame and addiction into love and success. And that is like a heavy topic. Not a topic that people want to talk about, and a lot of people tell me don't talk about these things. Nobody wants to hear them. They're too heavy. It's and all of that. And obviously, I don't listen to those. And I always want to do something that's valuable for my community, things that matter and that are actually affecting us, all of us, in some way or another. So. Who is here? Emily's here, Amanda's here. Hi, Amanda, great to see you. And even though this is a more uncomfortable topic, I invite you to really be as engaging and as participating as always. And if there's anything, and I'm not gonna ask you to share your deepest secrets, but if you wanna share something and you don't feel comfortable doing it here in public, send me a message on Facebook or on email, okay? So, addiction. Last week I met someone and we went to have a drink. And when I say I go for a drink, that means like I drink a water or something, because I personally, I don't drink alcohol. I mean, not that it has never been an issue for me, but you know, when I say, oh, let's go for a drink, most people actually assume it's an alcoholic drink. And when we think about addiction, the most common things we associate with addiction is actually alcohol and drugs at the number one. However, addiction has so many other components, and addictive behaviors are not necessarily attached to a substance. So, and I'm gonna go into that a little bit further in just a moment. Hi, Missouri, Sadi's here. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Darlene. Yeah, say hello on the comment section and click the like and love button. I know people laugh about it when I say this sometimes, but when you click the like and love button, it goes across my screen, and it's super nice for me to see that. So if nothing else, just do it so that I have this moment of also drawing on my screen. So I met this guy, and we went out for a drink, a smoothie, a juice. And so we were just talking, and we went into the conversation about addiction and alcohol and how difficult it is and how much shame it is involved. And he was sharing with me that he was in rehab, and for a period of time he was meditating. He meditated for 4 months in a row, and how that helped him. And then coming back, he didn't do it anymore by himself. And even though he knew how good it was for him. So, and that's so common for so many of us, that we know what's good for us, but we still don't do it. And therefore, we don't only judge ourselves for not doing it, we're judging ourselves for knowing better. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. So that conversation compelled me to talk about this a little bit more in depth, because I always see what an impact it does for someone when we can bring the things that we struggle with out in the open, and we have a safe and supportive environment to feel that we can actually reveal these things. So this is also a container to let those conversations come up. And of course, I mean, shame is always involved with addiction. But I want to talk about a little bit more to give you a sense, what do I mean by addiction? And here, a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, like this is not intent to cure or diagnose or anything. Like I'm a coach, I'm an energy healer. I speak to my own experience and the experience that I have for over 15 years with my clients. And I know firsthand what it means to be addicted. And therefore, I share that from my own personal experience versus telling you what to do. So I just want to make sure. If you dare, and if you don't, that's totally fine too. If you dare, before I jump in, leave me a comment below and say, do you ever struggle in the past, at the present moment? Have you ever struggled with some sort of an addictive behavior? And I'm going to name a few. I mean, alcohol and drugs are very common. I mean, smoking. It could be any substance that you put in. But here are addictions that can be extremely damaging, that have nothing to do with a certain substance that you ingest, for example. One big other addiction is gambling and or shopping. And with gambling and shopping, it's not only that it obviously damages, or damages may be the wrong word. It has a direct impact within yourself and your well-being, because it also has a financial impact. It creates even more struggle on the outside. And I know of people who really lost everything because of the addiction to gamble or to do shopping. And no matter what you are dealing with, just know that I believe, I'm not saying that I know all the truth. You don't have to believe anything I say, but I do believe that everyone has a level of struggle with addictive behaviors in some way or another. That doesn't mean you're out there and you're not functioning and you're sober, you're not addicted, but there's something that we all struggle with. So we are all in the same boat. And I really want to bring this conversation more out in the open, so that there is also a bigger transformation possible, because everyone struggles, like everyone has some way, or a lot of people, and because we're hiding it, we're not talking about it, everything that you hide, everything that you don't work through will have more power over you. I often say, to heal it, reveal it. So I invite you to just listen to what resonates with you, and maybe you know someone. Maybe you are not struggling with addiction whatsoever at all, but maybe you know someone, and you being here today might actually help you help this person. So if you dare, let me know if you struggle in any form or shape with some sort of addiction. And if you don't, leave it in the comment section. It's totally fine. I know that. I have addictive behaviors. It's just not alcohol or drugs. Yeah, totally makes sense. Again, as I said, it does not have to be alcohol and drugs at all. I give you a few examples. I give you a few more examples. You can be addicted to your phone. Hello. How often do you look at your phone? And or TV or Netflix or Facebook? And I'm always honest and transparent. There are sometimes times that I get so stuck and hooked into Facebook that I catch myself, and one point is like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I have a hard time letting go of it sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. And that's just a minor thing. It's like I have my ways on cutting that out. But just to give you an example. Another example is emotions. There are people who are addicted to a certain emotion. It could be anger even though it's not healthy, but we are addicted to feel a certain way, addicted to get attention, addicted to love. Some of us are even addicted to our own suffering. It makes no logical sense. It's not a sane behavior. You don't wake up in the morning and say, oh my God, I love my suffering. I want to do everything to keep my suffering going, right? We don't do that consciously. But how many people, and maybe you know someone, and maybe you are actually one of them. I've been one of them, right? That for some way or another, like for some reason that we don't understand, we keep doing the things that make us feel miserable. Can you relate to that? Does that resonate with you? And so it can be suffering, any type of emotion Codependency is an addiction. When you cannot be by yourself, when you have a hard time being by yourself and you always need a distraction. So that's a form of addictive behaviors. Overworking, a workaholic, just working too much. Exercising too much. Like even that can be an addiction. Some people might say, okay, I rather exercise too much than I drink too much alcohol. I totally get that. And that's fine. At the same time, if it's an addictive behavior, it runs you versus you having control over it. And we are so good in lying to ourselves and fooling ourselves to say it's not a big deal. And you notice when you can test yourself and say, no, I don't have any addiction behaviors, but anything you do, coffee, sugar, there's so many other, I can name so many, so many things. Adrenaline. It can be anything that is not from a balanced, conscious place where you feel you make a conscious choice and that you can just not do without any issue. Like if I say to some people say to me, oh, no, I'm not addicted to smoking. I just like it. Even though I don't believe that anyone really likes to put poison in their body consciously, but and it's not a judgment, it's an awareness piece. And it's like, okay, well then just stop for the next 3 days. Just don't smoke for 3 days. That's when you notice, shit, I can't actually, I gotta do it. For me it was food. For me, it has always been food. My biggest struggle when it came to that. So just want to check in here real quick because I asked you to share, and if you share, I want to acknowledge that. So thank you so much for being here, number one. Number two, daring to bring this conversation onto the table. And third, for actually leaving a comment. And if you're just chiming in, if you struggle with any type of addiction, leave me a comment below, and let's create a movement together of openness, healing, and experience. Because when we open up and we let ourselves face the things, that's how we can turn shame and addiction into love and really creating something, and success. And when I talk about success, I don't talk about necessarily business success. It's just that you feel free to be who you are without having to hide and without having to use constantly some substances to numb your pain. Okay, so online shopping, drugs, alcohol, and sexual addictions. Yes, sex, even didn't mention that. Thank you for saying that. Big struggle for people. And it's so easy sometimes for people to say, well, that's a great addiction. It's not. It's very painful when you are addicted to it. And it's very hard to have relationships and intimacy when you struggle with that. So thank you for sharing that. Sugar addict, yeah. Food, sugar, yes. Leanne is saying, my friend was just telling me yesterday that she thinks she's addicted to her phone. I'm probably addicted to that too. Yeah, totally. Yes, I get. Yeah, and Emily's saying, I never thought about being addicted to an emotion. Oh my God, that's a great insight already. If you just take that away from this show, anyone that's listening, totally. That is a huge addiction. And because it's not so obvious, like a substance, it's even more challenging to work through that. So thank you so much for sharing that. Facebook and overeating. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for being open and courageous to share. Overthinking and overanalyzing, can even be, overcomplicating things constantly. And there's often an underlying issue. It's like, okay, what's my payoff? Why am I doing this constantly? What does it give me? Like, from what does it prevent me? Like, addiction has so many, it's very complex. So I'm only scratching the surface, like little bit here today, but I wanted to open up the conversation. Amber is habits, ? Not so sure what you mean by that, but if you want to specify. Coffee, love coffee, yes. I used to be addicted to Mountain Dew. It's been years since I've put that in my body. Yeah, good for you. Okay, and more. I will check all the comments later as well. If you have any questions specifically about this, please leave a comment below. I'll get back to you if I don't get to it today, but I will check with it in just a minute. One thing that I want to say also, there's so much I could say, but often when you don't work on the underlying issues that causes you to be addicted in the first place, and I'm going to mention a few, the underlying beliefs about things, wounds from the past that are not healed, emotional attachments. So when you don't, and that's only just to name a few, when you don't address the underlying issue of an addiction, sometimes when you stop doing something, it just transfers somewhere else. And sometimes we don't even notice. Have you ever heard, or maybe you are one of them, says like, oh, I'm afraid to stop smoking because then I'm gonna gain weight. Or do you know someone that stopped smoking and then gained weight? And the association is, I thought, oh, because I stopped smoking, I gained weight. No, it's just you didn't work on the addiction, you just removed the substance, but the underlying driving mechanism is still going, and it looks just for another space, another way. So it could be that you drink more, it could be that you eat more, it could be that you do anything more. And it sometimes happens in transition, and that's totally fine too. Be aware of that. So it's not that you gain weight because you stop smoking, it's because we stuff it in a different way. Does that make sense, guy? Am I landing here? Is this valuable? Let me know. And so that's important. And how you actually use shame and addiction for your own well-being, for your happiness, for love, for success is number one. The first thing you got to do is that you admit that there is something going on that has an addictive component. Without judgment, simply you having the willingness to look at it. That's number one. You want to take responsibility. You want to face it. You want to dare. So that's number one. Number two, you want to do the work. You want to do the inner work that allows you to peel off those layers that are preventing you. Because if we don't do that, shame always wants to hide. There is no addiction. There is no addictive behavior without shame involved. And in my experience, again, it's my experience, it's my opinion. You don't have to, you take what resonates for you and what might be helpful for you. In my experience, and as much as I can tell, there is no addiction where there is not some level of self-punishment behavior. And it makes sense because what we do is not good for us. So there is an unconscious intention for self-punishment that has nothing to do with logic and has most of the time nothing to do with your current life. It's something from the past. So you want to do the inner work to release those beliefs, to release those intentions, to release those energetic attachments so that you can become free, that you have a choice. And then it might not live forever, but you have a different resource and a different state of being, and connect to the worthiness, because often unworthiness is a part of this too. And so how you do that is really, first you make a decision, you open yourself up to it. You want to find a safe container to work with someone like my clients who work with me. And I would say even 10 out of 10, but it doesn't always come up. But I would say 9 out of 10 has some way of addictive behavior that indirectly or directly is addressed in our sessions. And it's a safe container. You wanna open up to someone who can hold the space for you and can help you heal, because it makes you very vulnerable when you expose yourself and you decide to actually look at that shame. Shame always wants to hide. It's one of the most uncomfortable feelings to deal with. I remember, I just popped in my head years ago when I was still living in Germany. I think that's like 15 years ago, and I was massively struggling with my food addiction back then. And I was living with my boyfriend back then, and he had like a very small apartment, and it was just like one little room, with the living room and the kitchen open, and it was an open space with like a ladder, like a stairs up where the bed was. And I knew that when I was getting home that he was already asleep. And I had bought myself a big pot of ice cream. And and I ate in secret. Like I did that so many times in the past. I was so ashamed of it. I didn't want anyone to know. So I was sitting, and there's no joy in this when you do it this way. And it can be any addiction, doesn't matter. You can do anything and there's no real joy. I remember I was sitting on the couch, being as quiet as I could be so that he wouldn't wake up. And I was sitting on the couch at night, anxious, hiding, eating that ice cream because I was so addicted. And at some point it was really big and I had eaten so much already, but I was ashamed that he would see the ice cream the next morning. It wasn't even about him, it was my shame. That I forced myself to even eat all of it so that I can kind of destroy it and put it in the bin so that he would not know that I did that. Back then, I didn't share about this openly. Back then, I had so much shame and no enjoyment. And I'm sharing this with you because the addiction itself, of course, you want to look at it and you want to work on that. It's not the biggest problem. For me, at some point, I realized that's not the problem, but the shame and the self-judgment and the self-punishment is what makes it so hard to get out of it. So maybe you have your own story. It can be with anything other than food. And to turn it into love is to turn yourself into love, to learn how to love yourself, to peel off the layers, to find someone to guide you through, to heal and open up. And when you tap into that self-love, when you remove those layers and you tap and you connect to who you really are, you connect to the essence, to your soul, you connect and you heal those layers away. That's ultimately how you create a life that you really desire. That's how you create success. And you might be even addicted to success. Maybe that's your addiction. You could be addicted on anything can be an addictive behavior. So I could say so much more. And if you want me to bring this conversation more often or add on it, because again, I only scratched the surface here, let me know and I'll be happy to do more about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the comments. If you have a question or if this resonates with you, or if you have your own version of something that you want to share with me, leave a comment below. Now I'm going to take a few more minutes. And so I love coffee, but I don't think I'm addicted. I'm okay if I don't have it for a few days. Yeah, doesn't sound like, not everything is an addiction. Like you can have it and you can not have it. That's fine. My addiction to specific things that is necessarily bad for me, but it's to avoiding feeling what I need to heal within myself. If I wasn't wanting to feel numb, I would be more motivated to do every little thing and doing my best to do the most healthy I can. Like I'm too lazy to do my yoga practice sometimes because I just want to check out. Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's one of the biggest components about addiction. And again, there's no logic in it. It's the inner child in us or unconscious feelings. Some of the things that are very common is to not feel loneliness, to not feel shame. That's the vicious cycle of addiction, by the way. So whatever your addiction is, substance, food, alcohol, it doesn't matter. So you use that to avoid to feel a certain emotion. You do this unconsciously. But then you feel ashamed of it, so you don't want to feel the shame. So you drink even more, you eat even more to numb that feeling. And so it's a vicious cycle. Then you hate yourself for it, and you hate that feeling of hating yourself. So you try to stuff it more and more and to avoid in any way we can. So that's the vicious cycle. That's why it's so difficult. And to break the chain is to really look at it and do the underlying work to see, hey, what's actually underneath that wants to be healed? Because it's an opportunity. For me, everything is an opportunity. Every time I hit another layer of my own struggle, I see, wow, there's something that is another layer, a next level of freedom, a next level of self-love, a next opportunity to heal something. So if you can switch your mindset around, oh my God, this is such a bad thing and I am bad, versus, okay, there's something here for me to heal and to open up, then you can really turn that into love, acceptance, abundance. You can use this. So I hope that inspires you to just look at it in a different way. If you guys have any other questions, write a comment below. I'm just going, I don't see any questions at the moment. Addictive behaviors, anger may be one of them. Food, yes, yes, yes. Addicted to being engaged with life, yes, exactly. I hear a lot of yeses here. Yeah. Yeah, she said, and Aura saying, yeah, maybe chocolate and Facebook. Oh, chocolate, yeah, addicted to chocolate. I have a question for you, Sonia. When will your book be out? I don't know, Amber. It's in the works, but I appreciate your question. I do not know yet. Leanne is saying, I love this, Sonia. I know that when I've been really addictive with food, sometimes I'd eat things unhealthy, and I knew I wasn't particularly liking it, but I just kept eating. Yes, Leanne, thank you for sharing, and you're so not alone with it. Oh my God, who can relate with Leanne? Like, who can relate? If you can relate to it, just click the like button right this second. Just click the like button if you can relate to Leanne. I would click the like button, but I cannot click my own like button right now. Any other questions? I'm just going, thank you so much for your engagement. Yes, please, to further insight this. Oh, so many likes. Hey, yes, I love it. I love it. I love you so much. You're amazing. So here's what we're going to do. I'm definitely going to keep this conversation going. What I invite you to do is to take a deep breath. Right here, right now. And whatever it is that you struggle with, and maybe you're not even aware of it, just let that be okay. Look at yourself with compassion and love. And if love is too far away, just honor, accept, maybe even only acknowledge. Let it be okay. Let yourself know that when shame comes up, it wants to hide. Everything that you hide will have power over you and will sabotage you even more. Find a safe place or a safe person that you can do the work with so that you can set yourself free. And remember that most everyone that you encounter, because we beat ourselves up so bad, like, what's wrong with me? Like, I should know better. I know I should do this, but I'm not doing this. What the hell is wrong with me? When you walk around, just remember that most everyone has the same conversation deep inside, and no one wants to share and admit it. But when we open up together and we let ourselves be really vulnerable in a safe environment, you're not only going to make a difference for your own life, you will make a huge difference for your children, for your relationship, for the world, for anyone that cares for you and that you care for. So on that note, I'm going to leave you at this today. Choose to be loving and kind with you today. Face whatever you get to face, to tap into who you really are becoming in this lifetime, who you really want to be in this lifetime, who you can be, who you know there's more for you. And talk about it. Let yourself be, and I don't know the word. I have a word in mind that I can't find in words. A vessel, for lack of better words. Let yourself be a vessel for a change to help planet heal. Step by step, one step at a time, one life at a time, one addiction at a time. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Please do me a favor, leave me a comment below and let me know what's the most valuable thing you're getting out of this today, regardless if you're here live right now or if you're watching the replay. And if you have any other questions, please reach out to me. I'm here to help you. And I am wishing you a fantastic rest of the day, fantastic week. Love yourself no matter what. And I will see you again on Monday. Much love.